Reselling life.
Wow.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of This Is Your Reselling Life. Tonight we have Zaheer and Bec all the way from the UK joining us for our first international reselling chat. So,
hi guys.
Tonight we have Zaheer and Bec all the way from the UK.
Oh, we can hear ourselves. That's horrible.
International reselling chat. So,
Hi guys.
Hold on.
Oh no, is it us?
It's us. It's us. You ruined your intro completely. Oh, we're so amateur.
It's so nice we played it twice.
I didn't know. I didn't know that. I just checked. I'm so sorry, guys. Let's start that again. Pretend that happened.
I loved it.
This is real life right here. This is what happens.
We've only been going streaming for like God knows how many years now, but I didn't know it hid the window.
It's the YouTube tab. Hey, it's shocking.
I didn't realize I had a complete new one open. Sorry.
So tonight we have Zaheer, 38, and Bec, 37, all the way from the UK. Some really good quality guests who we've had some nice little chats to over the last day and a half. So, do you guys want to sort of introduce yourself and tell everyone how you sort of got into reselling?
Yeah, sure. I'm Zaheer. This is my wife Rebecca.
Hello.
We got into reselling about 5 years ago now. I think coming up to 5 years. And it was through a combination of watching YouTube. It started off with YouTube, as I think it does for a lot of people.
You started first.
Yeah. Bec was still working. I was working, and I started looking at videos online. Like how to make money online, because we've always been broke. We're still broke, but we're happier now. But
I like that.
Yeah, we're still broke.
We're still broke.
But we always broke. I mean, like, you do that thing where you search on the internet, like, how can you make money? And I come across this guy called DIY Mike, and he was like over in the States, and he shared he made like $150,000 in his first year selling on eBay. And I was like, wow, like that's mind blowing. He was doing car parts, but it was just, I was just watching stuff. And then one day I saw Nick Hill's making a video.
Yeah.
So he's, as you guys know, he's like the biggest UK reselling channel now, like over 30,000 subscribers. And when he started making videos all those years ago, it made it realistic for me. I remember saying to Bec when I first saw his videos, like, Bec, check out this guy. He's doing this in the UK.
And the thing is, like, Zaheer had like many jobs up until that point. Many jobs. And he used to struggle to kind of not keep them. I mean, it was always your choice to leave. But he was in and out and changing jobs constantly. And when he came to me, it was like, I really want to do this. Yeah. And he was like, and I was like, well, go and do it. Yeah. Just do it.
Yeah. I was always a bit of a job hopper. I don't know if you've ever been like that, but I'd stay at a job. I'd start really I'd get employee of the month in my first month, and then for the rest of the 3 years I was there, it was just a steady decline. And then I'd end up quitting, and then Bec was like, when I showed Bec showed Nick's videos, I was like, look, this guy's doing it in the UK. She was very kind of like, yeah, but are you sure you're not just going to get bored? Is this another thing you're going to just do and get bored of? Yeah. But it didn't work out like that. Like I ended up quitting my job that I was doing, and I just jumped, because Bec was working full time. Yeah. I just jumped straight in with no starting money, no experience really, nothing. I'm one of those people that you don't listen to when it comes to making big decisions, because I do things, I just jump in, and that was the start.
But you've made a success out of that. Like, you guys have grown to a level where you could sort of, get a warehouse or, a storage area and stuff. So, I think there's merit in all different circumstances. So it's really cool.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. It definitely kind of picked up a lot of information over the years, like from watching other guys on YouTube, Facebook groups back in the day as well. And picked up a lot of stuff. And I'm always willing, part of my personality is because I'm willing to take a chance. I tend to learn pretty quickly because I'm I will just take a risk on stuff.
Well, you're the risk taker, aren't you? I try to be the sensible one.
Yeah.
I will say hello to a few people in chat.
Sure.
We've got some awesome people in. We've got Pommy, Rod, Rod.
Hello, Rod.
We've got Shazad. Thank you very much for coming in. He's one of your...
Shazad is high level.
Yeah.
High level.
We've got We Flippin', which is Zach. We've got Look Mama Hustling, which is Drew and Sarah, the other couple we did the challenge with.
Yeah.
Just me. Here we go. The greatest clothing reseller has now arrived.
Oh yeah. All hail.
I'm glad you could grace us with his presence.
Yeah.
Kelly, Ricky, Kate Dizzle, Dawn.
All the hellos.
Heaps of people
Hello,
in.
everybody.
Oh, look, we've got Bumcrack Picker, the Mods with Stars.
Hope you've had a good day so far.
BCP for coming in.
Using those matchsticks to keep the eyes open.
So. I don't know how he does it. Hey. What's up down under? There we go. Shazad.
He's the highest level.
Yeah, he's leveled up to the max, I think.
He has. He's like level 100. He's waiting. He's waiting for them to add the expansion, where they add extra levels to level up to.
So he's eaten all the mushrooms on Mario, and
he has. Oh, completely.
Bec, I'm curious because you just said that Zaheer kind of started first, but you have worked together because I've watched your YouTube videos. Yeah. So at what point did you kind of come in and get involved, or were you dragged?
I started getting involved probably when we started deciding to move, because we were in the south, South London, and we moved from South London to northwest England. So we were kind of like Lancashire, Preston way in the UK. And it's that's when we decided that I was going to come on board. That whole move was meant for us to both be focused on the business. And although a couple months before moving, I started kind of getting some listing and started doing going sourcing with you and things like that. It was just it. And that was like 2 years after you started, wasn't it?
Yeah, about 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah, we moved quick. We were just
So that's kind of how I got involved in it. And it was
you just to put it into context, like you had a good job that you were happy with.
I had a good job.
Didn't really have any interest in selling stuff on eBay, if you're honest. I wouldn't say strong-armed you, but you used to come with me to the car boots anyway. And I was like, just, hold the freaking camera or something,
Well, he was making videos.
Yeah, it was like, give me a hand, it's all okay. Yeah. And
you enjoyed sourcing together already, or?
Yeah, she was, you were coming out with me at the weekend. But it was really when we got this harebrained idea that I tell you what we could do is we could make this work if we live somewhere cheaper.
We always had an idea of, we always wanted to eventually be working together.
Yeah, don't know why, but we always fancied the thought of it. Yeah, we thought it'd be a lot of fun.
Touching on that, you guys put out a video just recently about how you guys do work together, and I guess me and Jazzy sort of struggle with that sometimes. So how do you guys find that situation?
You go.
It's a lot of compromise. Trying not to kind of wind the other one up.
You will get in each other's way.
Yeah, you do.
You will. And
the recent changes, like with you taking on a job again, have meant that I'm in the office quite a lot on my own now these last couple of weeks, other than when I come in the evenings with you. So
it's lessened
so it's kind of we're not working in the office as much as we were together.
Lessen the exposure.
But definitely have to compromise, and it's like try not to kind of snap at each other, but that's that's unavoidable sometimes. Sometimes you're just in the mood.
I think you have to make it fun. Like I think when you're working together, you have to go to the things that make you a good couple in the first place. So like if you're a couple that likes to joke around with each other, you have to take advantage of that and be like that.
I mean, we always
makes the environment really nice. If we're just concentrating seriously, that's when you can get a bit of tension, but if you keep like a happy, you got to keep it you got to keep it kind of light, and then you can
you just kind of get through it. Hey, you just, we've had circumstances where we've had to like consciously be like, all right, we can see we're getting frustrated. Just go away and do it.
Do you have separate computers to work on?
We do everything from phone.
One.
So,
yeah, we both work on our phones and we talk from the computer.
That's a big issue for us. Like when we did have 2 computers and we actually worked better then, because then you can both be on your own computer doing your own thing. But then we sold one of them because it was just too big. It was too big. It wasn't suitable. But so we're now down to 1 again.
Yeah.
And that causes.
And I think this is
yeah. Like, oh no, I need to do some shipping. Haven't you done that yet?
Yeah.
Can you hurry up?
Move? No.
Or you just stand there, look, like, right, yeah. And then, or the other person will like notice that, like, she might notice that I'm just sat there, or vice versa. Like, oh, so what are you doing? It's just wondering. You just ask, so what are you doing?
Adelaide Crows are the best at saying Lancashire is where Andrew Flintoff is from. Is that true?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. He is. Yeah.
So if anyone has any questions along the night or morning for Zaheer and Bec, please drop them in the comments and we'll try and get them up for them to answer. We have a sort of a few here, but
I want to know about just being in the UK, because all we know is Australia. And we've watched lots of American YouTubes, but what are kind of the struggles that you might have unique to selling in the UK, or what are the best things as well?
I think we've got quite a cool perspective because we did this down south near London, and then we're now trying to do it up here. And I think there's a lot of similarities. If you're lucky enough to live next to a big city, or like an affluent city where there's a lot of money, you will find overall, I think consistently, like a better quality of stuff will come across more regularly. Or the other side of it is you probably will find that stuff priced, not valued as much. Whereas since moving up north, we do still find good quality items, like good brands and things, and good, you say, for example, you're talking about electricals or whatever, you still find some cool stuff. We found some really good stuff since being up north, so it's not knocking the people of the north of England, but the people in the south definitely don't value their stuff.
It's a lot more throwaway.
It's been 3 years now, so it could have changed. But when we were there, we did notice that we would regularly find like stuff that was sold quite cheap. Whereas up here, you find that people are a lot more in tune, like in a more rural or slightly kind of more rural area, where I think a lot of people are also into reselling because job opportunities up here are not as much as they are next to a big city. So a lot of people do this on the side now. It's just like standard now, isn't it? I think people are more in tune with value of stuff.
Stuff.
Main sources of stock, I'm guessing, will be similar wherever you are, which will for us be car boot sales. That's like the best place to go, really, if you're just looking to be, just to thrift secondhand stuff, because it's all in one place. You go turn up to a field, and you buy stuff generally really cheap. But again, since moving up north, geography is so important. We've missed so many car boots due to bad weather versus south. Like this year we counted, didn't we? Yeah.
But I will say the benefits that we have had from up here are like the it sounds bad, but like stores closing down, like retirement
It's
closing down. And I mean, you recently were able to take it wasn't recently, it was last year. No, was it last year or year before now?
Probably
the electronics.
That was a couple years.
That was a couple of years ago, but it was like you don't always see those sort of opportunities. It was a guy that had
a lot more independent stores.
There's so many independent stores. And then they go into retirement and they want to get rid of their stock, and it was just like lucky that you went in one morning and
we found So there is that difference where if you go to small villages and stuff, you're still going to find family owned shops. And since we've been there, we've seen a couple of stores do that, where they've they've been in trade for the past God knows how many years, and then they decide to sell up, and then so they obviously sell off their stuff. Whereas if you're down in the city, like most of those opportunities probably went a few years ago, because there haven't been, those kind of independent family-owned businesses on the high street for quite a few years now. It's just coffee shops, charity shops, chicken shops, and veg shops. And
so you just got to change the way you sort of think about opportunities.
Yeah.
Zach has a good question, which we also had. So what do you guys sell the most? I know that you have an RC store, and how did you sort of start selling in the RC space is probably a good question as well.
Yeah, the RC thing happened by accident. A lot of things you'll find happen by accident. We were visiting family down south. We'd moved up, and there was a department store that was closing down, and it had a concession from this. There was a concession in there. There used to be like a model shop chain, like a national chain called Model Zone, and they'd gone into liquidation or whatever. And this concession was just packed with this stuff. So we just saw an opportunity. We got a working capital 2 weeks.
I think the thing is with this, you're kind of like skipping over it. We went in there on when we were down visiting family. We went in there. We hadn't even spoken to the manager. We had only spoken to the staff that were in, because the manager was off. And they took your number and we're like, we'll pass it on. And then we obviously went back home. We went and drove back home. And then was it a few days later? Yeah. Because we knew she was going to be back in. We drove down again. So we drove like it was about 4.5 hours. Not knowing whether we would be able to do a deal with her, but just wanting to be able to make that contact. And when we did, it was we took some home that day, didn't we? And then we came back at the weekend.
It was mostly, it was one of those things where we were thinking we were going to make a lot of money on that. There was a lot of die-cast models, die-cast cars. There were a lot of model kits, where you build planes and whatnot. And we thought that's where all we were going to make our money, and that's what cost us. I think we spent. Cost us the most. I think it was like $3.5 grand. I think we spent on it. It was like, most of that went on, like $3 grand of it was on this stuff that we thought we were going to make all this money on. But the thing turned out to be.
The thing is, we had to take the other stuff to kind of open up to get the RC stuff. So it's like, it was one of those where it was like, you can have this, but we'll chuck this in with it. And it was like, right, okay, great. We knew there was value in the RC stuff, but not to the amount that we actually.
Because it was like, she basically said, all right, you bought all this. That's the best we can do. So it was like $3 grand for all these model kits, and we were happy with that. But she was like, we've got all this radio control stuff, and we really didn't know like how good it would be. And she sold us all of that for $500, and that was crazy. So it was that $500 really that has just changed everything, because we ended up with thousands and thousands of parts, and we just came home, started listing. There is actually a video on our channel where we filmed what our house looked like when we brought it home, because it literally it was mind-bending. Like we'd never. When you buy bulk, it sounds really good, but you've got to be mentally prepared. And you've got a story about this, haven't you guys?
I think we all do. I'm so interested in your division of space, because you do also rent an office.
Only recently.
That only started this year, didn't it?
Yeah, when we got all that stuff, like all that huge amount of boxes and stuff, it literally was just from the front of our living room into our dining area into this area. This was like where we used to work out from, this room here. It was just like the whole house was just crammed.
We couldn't move in here, but we couldn't move in the living room.
We had to move the dining table to the side, and just boxes everywhere. It was just, it was bonkers. So that's what we sell mainly.
But we do have a general store, don't we? Which we that's where we go to the charity shops and car boots for. And we do like anything really. It's like clothing,
electricals, clothing, the bric-a-brac type stuff, because that's what we started like with most people do. And it definitely is good to have like diversity. I think when you're selling stuff, like I would love to be niched, but we just simply don't have enough money to be niched, if that makes sense. Because to be niched, you get to a point where you're like, you need to keep buying inventory and keep building the niche,
to
So,
different beast. Hey, it's
a
different game. So when we were speaking to you the other day, you sort of said that you bought the storage place or the warehouse to sort of separate your life in terms of working and selling. Has that really helped in your day-to-day life as well? Like just made things better for you as a couple?
Yeah, it's basically like an office space, and we took it out in April this year. So we only had it since April this year. It's not cheap. It costs us like £400 a month. But when you consider like a storage place is going to cost you 150, 200, and all you're going to have is storage, we get internet, electric, lights, an office space to work out from. Has it been worth it? If you look at just the numbers, it's a no, because it happened to coincide with us taking out that expense, coincided with a massive dip in our sales this year. We're like 20% down over the past year, which is the first time that's happened as well. But would we give it up? And maybe it's stubborn. I don't know. We're like, maybe we're being stubborn. Could be, because we're only human.
I think I'm more stubborn about it than you are. I mean,
I've mentioned about getting rid of it for now, but at the same time, has it been good for us? Yes, like definitely. From the perspective of long term, it's definitely a benefit. We know that, because this like slowdown in sales we know it's only temporary until we get our cash flow back. That's the only reason our sales have slowed down, because we haven't had the cash flow to invest in new stock as much as we have in the previous years, hence me going back to work as well. But has it helped us otherwise, like in terms of quality of life? Hell yeah. I mean, it's probably the best. I like, yes, it's
like the home and work life balance. It's I think it's given us a space where, right, when we go to work, that is work, and when we come home, we can relax and be at home. I mean, obviously we still have to answer questions and things like that when we get them, but we can do that on our phone. So you know, we don't need to be at the office for that, unless it's like Zaheer forgetting that he hasn't put measurement on a clothing item, which
oh no,
but you know, unless it's something like that and we can't do it, like you know, react to that. But
I normally just put in if it's a small, medium, large.
And you know what, this past, I think it was 2 weeks, all I've had is, can you tell me the measurement of this? And I'm like, I look at it and I'm like, what, the measurement should be there? And I look at it, I'm like, well, you've listed it, so where's the measurement? And he's like, well, I don't measure it.
The measurement's on the shirt.
It says it's medium. That's the measurement. I mean, I think overall though, like it's been great, because I think it gets to the point, you might not feel it straight away, but like say 2-3 years in, you know, your home looks like a stock room. I just don't like it. I just don't. Like, at first, it's tolerable. It is, and some people can tolerate it and are happy with it. And in a way, I wish we could tolerate it, because it would save us like 400 quid a month. But I think that it reduces our quality of life, because we're paying good money to live in this house, and we want to kind of be able to enjoy it, you know, and not be reminded of just like having stock everywhere. But also I think some people work better from home than others.
I was going to say that.
And I think we've definitely been more productive. Okay, that productivity hasn't translated into like sales growth, but that can happen sometimes. That's the reality of things, isn't it? Sometimes you will work hard, but you might not see the result straight away. You know, there may be, you know, there could be a number of reasons for that. So, but I do feel we're so much more productive. So I kind of, when I add those things up, I do agree with you, even though initially I'm like, look, it's not, we're paying us money, it's not paying us back yet. But when I think about it long term, and when I look at the quality of life we've gained, having a separate space for stock out of your house is really nice.
I think like when you have that analytical mind, when you like sort of crunch numbers, you're like, oh man, this is costing me. But when you take a step back and look at the bigger picture, it's giving you something that you didn't have before. So
it's allowed us to do a couple of things. Like for example, it's opened doors in terms of wholesale, because we can now. Now we're not able to take full advantage of that right now, because, like I said, we're broke. But like it's the, you know, we're changing that. We're working on that. So that's like that's not really a problem. I've never seen that as a problem. But what it has done is that having a commercial premises has allowed us to create contacts. Now that in itself is really valuable. So you can actually start making contacts that aren't available to everybody, because there are certain wholesalers out there like that won't talk to you if they think you're just like a from home outfit. They want to deal with. So there's those benefits. Also, one thing that did start to happen to us, and it kind of was like a wake-up call.
Before,
we started getting people turning up at our house thinking we were a hobby shop. So, and the thing is, what was weird is these people would drive, they drive to the address, use their sat nav, and they're like, okay, this is a hobby shop. They must see then it's just a regular house.
Yes.
But then they still knock on the door.
Oh wow.
We actually had.
Ooh, I wouldn't handle that.
Yeah, that'd be scary.
This thing, and it happened like quickly in succession, 2 or 3 times.
It happened.
2 times or 3 times.
It happened 3 times.
Was it 3 times?
And it was always on like a weekend.
Saturday
the girls
morning.
were at home as well.
The girls are having their cereal.
And it was just. We were just like, right, we need to stop this. The business needs to kind of move out of the house because. It's not fair on the kids, really, is it? They're sitting in their PJs at the dinner table, and
fair anyway.
I think our store was a bit misleading because it gave the
impression we actually had like a store, because we've
got so much RC stuff listed, and we've all organized it. We put a lot of work into that, and it ticks over, and we've got loads and loads of stock. It just looks like it should be a radio control store.
Yeah, you did. You look pretty professional. Here's a good question for you. Would you consider buying out a chicken shop?
I do that every now and then anyway, but as a company. I would love, I've actually said I'd love a chicken shop up here. There's none locally to me. I think we're missing out.
You just have to create your own, Denny's an Aussie reseller, and he said he'd like to hear about your top tips for speeding up the listing process, increasing productivity.
Do you want to talk on this?
I love listing templates. I have a number of them for whatever we sell. And I think if you can have like a very basic description,
a generic description, don't go too.
I mean, obviously, if it's clothing and there are faults, we do point those out and we have to kind of stick those in. But it's very, very generic. Our template. It should include the measurements if you use the template.
You must have lost that template. I don't know what happened.
I mean, I'll be honest. Like, the way I honestly this is how we've done it. It's doesn't mean it's right or anything, but something.
That's why.
Especially when you're talking about, like, say for example, used toys or electronics, something as vague as like good condition with some marks / wear consistent with age.
And then,
something that's literally it, and you could just
if there's anything
that works for everything. That's like
if there's anything obvious, we will point it out.
That's one thing. But also organizing your inventory before you start listing as well. That's something that we've picked up over the years from a lot of people, where it makes sense to obviously list similar items. So I know it can be a bit monotonous, but if you're talking about efficiency, productivity, then you've got to do those things. Unfortunately, like, I think there's a challenge, like when you work for yourself, you do it because you want to be boss, right? And you want to do things your way. You don't have anyone telling you what to do. But there's a reason why companies work in certain ways. There's a reason why they have processes. And I hate processes and all that stuff, but they work, and that's why companies use them.
Like that.
So
you just got to find that thing that works for you as a couple, and or an individual even. So
you've got to be regimented, have similar items. I think one thing a lot of people do, which is smart, is you can allocate time to prepping. So you're not picking out an item and thinking, okay, I've got to clean this now before I list it or whatever. And the way we work with, for example, our radio control parts, which is a bit different because they're all new in packet. But to increase productivity, we do it so that we do drafts. We have them all drafted, and then we draft bulk, and then we photograph in bulk, and then just attach the photos later, and then it just
Do you each do one particular task, or is it you switch around?
Yeah, we split it. So she
it.
does the drafting.
Yeah.
You like doing all the draft stuff because she's made the templates. You know, and like she kind of No, they're good. They're good. I just
you just hate them.
No, I don't hate them. I just don't always think about using them. There's a difference. I never said I hated them. They're good.
And you do the photos here?
I do the photos mostly.
Yeah,
mostly.
We're opposite. I draft and she does the photos because she's better with attention to detail. So
no, photos are important. Like they Tommy's here.
Tommy's here.
Okay, we can start. Hello, everybody.
Welcome. No. We have any more questions in the chat? Thank you. Just me. I'm surrounded by stuff. Trying to catch up with the chat by a little bit. Going on. 51 people in, so thanks everyone for coming along. That's awesome. Yeah. With the biggest set of bags. Awesome. All right, looks like we've sort of catched up, so that's a good start. So a question I had is, you now have gone back to full-time work, Zaheer, and I imagine that was a bit of a struggle at the start to sort of get back into that routine. So how's that been going for you, and how's that process been?
It was a tough decision because like we didn't move up here for us to both be working. Like you said, we moved away from family, etc., so we could both have like the dream of like being our own boss. But obviously you got to be realistic about things, and it's the right decision. It's a challenge, but I'm enjoying it. One thing I will say is like if you're like full-time reselling, and you've got, I mean, it depends on what you're looking to achieve, but I never quite felt I was busy enough. And it was mostly down not to just me not being busy, but just not having enough productive stuff to do. You've got to have work to do. You've got to have productive, work that's going to pay off to do. And so that kind of has made it, that made the decision for us.
I mean, I didn't really agree with the decision. I was saying for months and months and months,
don't do it.
Don't do it. But I understood that was like a really like selfish from my point of view, because I had the escape when I was getting stressed with the business. I had the escape of having the job, and I was getting out the house, and I was going to do something else that was bringing in like some money on the side. So I kind of understood that you were getting stressed with like, how am I going to get this to work? But
well, the thing is, because like if you look at what we do, we still bring in like more than a decent what you could call full-time income from if you've got a regular job. We still do that. However, the problem was we noticed that we were eating into it every month. And that's now led to the stage where then we don't have enough capital or cash flow to keep investing, keep growing.
Our expenses are quite high.
We've got really high expenses. You've got to look at your expenses.
Our expenses are quite high.
That's what I was sort of saying the other day. Like everyone has different circumstances, and I think that gets lost sometimes. And people like would look at your channel and think, oh, why aren't you full time? But they don't understand what's behind what you do. And I think that making that decision for yourself and not sort of getting stuck in what everyone else's opinion is the best for you, because you know your situation, whereas no one else does.
I mean, some people, would be happy with like, I don't know, like £1,000 or £1,500 or £2,000, but it's all relative as to that might be enough, or that might be more than enough for some people. For other people, it wouldn't even touch the sides. It depends on what your bills are, etc. And that's really motivated. I think the kind of want to keep growing the business is what's actually motivating me to go to work. Like that's
I admire your perspective and being able to make that decision with such a positive attitude and just get it done.
You have to, because you get used to, like, bear in mind, guys, I've been at home now for like 4 years or something, like a 4-year gap on my CV that I had to explain, and things change. Like they do all kinds of extra checks, and they want to know exactly where you've been, and you're like, well, just been doing my thing, And so it was definitely difficult. It was like a culture shock, and sometimes you hear people, including myself. I've been on many videos where I've been like, I'm unemployable now. I'm completely unemployable. You start feeling like that, but when push comes to shove,
You do what you have to do.
But the motivation behind it, I think the thing that's making me buzz about doing this, and I really want to go for it, is simply because I know what the end game is. You know, like I know that it's going to allow me to be able to reinvest, and that's the key. Because I know that we can buying stuff's not an issue, guys. You know, you can buy stuff, but you've got to have cash flow. Cash flow is key, and I think that's what's motivating me to, you know, I'll be getting up at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. You know, getting out and starting my day early, so I can finish earlier and then get back to the real work. So
you're thinking long term.
Yeah.
So what are your goals? Like, are you sort of looking like at a time frame to do that, or is there like a point in time that you're going to know that it's right to go back to full time?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It's like, ideally, part of me thinks it depends on the workload.
It does.
Like, because technically, like I said, I'm probably going to be earning more money still from eBay than I am from my full-time job. You know, so do you know what I mean? It's not like I'm, you know, but that's not the point. The point is, if I'm earning that money, then why not? If I can do a full-time job and still run the business to the point where it's still earning me more money than my full-time job, well, why aren't I doing both? You know, I need to do both until the workload from the business becomes so great that I can't do both. That's my thing. Like, but really to test the limits, because I'm like, if you know, it's great that I could. The other side of it is you can just be like, okay, I'm earning decent money, and I'm not doing much work for it. But you know, I don't. You know, we've got plans for the future in terms of, you know, you want to make sure your kids are good. You want to make sure you're good. You want to make sure you got like, you know, side cash, like, yeah, expendable money. You know, we want to go on holidays. There's lots of things we're sacrificing. So.
Yeah, I think when you work hard for money, you appreciate it a lot more as well, because you know you've put in the effort to get.
And why not? I've seen loads of people do this. Like you know, people used to do 2 jobs quite regularly, didn't they? Like they'd work all day, and then they'll come home and work at night. And we're lucky enough now that we've got the option of online business, right? So you've got that option. So it's basically like the modern equivalent of having a couple of jobs. That's all it is. And you know, it always used to bother me, because like when I used to go and pick Rebecca up from work, I'd be like, you know, I don't feel like what have I achieved? You know, like you've made some money now. Like, I'm like, I've done work, but it doesn't feel right. There's enough hours in the day. I feel like I need to be productive constantly for at least a set amount of hours, and then I can, because I love to chill out. You know, I love to play video games. I love playing Fortnite. I love, you know, watching YouTube, but I want to be able to do that with a clear conscience. And everyone's going to have different ideas of what that is. But for me, I want to know that I've like rinsed every minute of the day, and then I can.
You've earned that. You've earned that time.
Yeah.
Shazad's saying keeping money in the business is the key to any successful business. He hasn't taken anything out. So that's exactly, and that's the situation we're in.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, definitely.
Question for Zaheer and Bec. Any plans to get a mortgage as well, or are you going to stick with renting?
For now,
we're going to stay with renting.
Yeah, I think I would like to get like to own a property, but I think we're not going to do that until we can get a property that we would like, because I think we're at the stage in life now where a starter home wouldn't cut it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
and I think for us, we do want to like mainly keep the money in the business and like really focus on pushing the business before we even think about a mortgage or, you know, so we're sticking with renting for now.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's what suits your situation. So.
I mean, like, I think it will come with, like, if we could get, if we're in a position of getting like a mortgage on a house that we'd call like a house that we could see ourselves living in for, you know, for the rest of our lives type thing, then but like, you know, because we live in an area now where you can buy houses pretty cheap, but I don't want to live in those ones.
It's a quality of life.
And you know, there's things that I'm willing to sacrifice, and there's things I'm not. So, you know, like we could rent a much cheaper place than we live in, much cheaper. Like, but I don't want to. I don't
it's
want
that quality of life that you spoke about.
Completely.
You know, and again, that goes back to moving the stuff out of your house and sort of making your home a home rather than a home business. So it all falls under the same category.
I have to ask, because I always ask, is there a deal that you've made or a buy that you've made in the past that you wish you hadn't, that we can all learn from?
Many, probably. Yeah, many. Oh gosh, what did we buy that we ended up just wanting to get rid of? We've got so many that we can't even think of one straight off the top of my head. I think it's actually not a bad idea to talk about this, because like you might make a contact where you get some really good stuff, right? But that doesn't mean that every time you go to them that you're going to get as good a deal. We've got a contact that we buy in bulk from, and we had 2 amazing pickups, bulk buys. The last one we made, however, looking back on it, I think
Probably
we felt
wasn't so great.
it wasn't great. So
not all of it.
Yeah, it wasn't as good as we thought.
There were parts of it that we were like, this is good, this is sold. But then there's stuff that we've still got hold of that we haven't looked at. And
kind of maintains that relationship though for future good buys.
That's what we're hoping. What we're hoping. It was a difficult one, because obviously, I mean, it's all RC stuff, so I'm not going to go into the detail of it. It's just it was all RC stuff. But just like in any other niche, there's stuff that sells and there's stuff that doesn't sell so well, etc. Not everything. I think there's a danger when
maybe
people,
it was that it just sold a little bit slower.
Or we paid too much, maybe. I think we may have I think it was a combination of us paying too much and it also happening to be a not great selling area of the hobby. And I think this is something I suppose that you can take away from that is, you know, when you hear about different niches, say you're a clothing seller, and then you've got someone online talking about how much money they're making selling electronics. It's easy to get caught up in thinking, okay, I need to get into electronics, and then just assuming that all of that kind of electronics will make you money. It's not always the case. And I think even with the RC hobby, we're still finding there are certain brands, certain types of item, certain ages of item. You know, just because it's old doesn't mean it's, you know, worth much. So the
other one though, that it was when you first started out.
Oh, go on.
The Any Sharp stuff.
Oh,
do you
yes,
that one?
That's really good. Yeah, that's really
awful,
good. Yeah.
Actually, that was a really awful buy.
There's this thing. There's like a kitchen gadget in the UK. I don't know if you guys have it over there called Any Sharp. It's like a little suction cup knife sharp.
I don't think it's called that here, but it's I understand the concept.
So you put it on the counter, and it's got these like something carbide edges, and you run your knife through it. And it's not actually a sharp knife, it just kind of disintegrates your knife the more you use it. So you wouldn't use a good knife on it. It's just if you've got like some regular generic kitchen knife and you want to sharpen it, it's really great for that. And it was a really amazing product. And I don't know why, but I just thought, I had a bit of money. I thought, you know what would be really cool? This is such a good product. Like, we should be, you know, why don't we sell something like this, right? So, you know, I did the usual noob thing. I went on to Alibaba, ordered like without getting any samples, without really knowing who I was dealing with. Ordered a bunch of these knife sharpeners. I think it wasn't like a huge amount, but it was like 200 of them. And they were only like a dollar or a couple dollars each. So it was still like a couple $100 or something. And I got them, and I was like, oh, now I'm a real businessman. I've bought something from China, and I'm going to list it and sell it. Obviously, I list it, and as soon as I list it, I get like a cease and desist from the owners of Any Shop because that design is like Loctite, dude. You can't copy that.
On TV can only order via this link.
So and not just that, but also like the packaging was really crusty. It was like, I think there were spelling mistakes. It was like, it was really nasty. It was cracking everywhere, and they probably didn't work so well. So in the end, I just ended up taking the hit and selling them on Facebook for like 50 quid.
Was it Facebook or Gumtree?
I don't know, Facebook or Gumtree. I think back then it might have been Gumtree. But yeah, that was a real
Let's not do that again.
Don't do it.
We made some shockers. Shazad's saying I had a rep that need me to place an order to hit a sales target. I always look after my reps, and in turn they look after me. Making contacts is easy. Telling them is the hard part.
Yeah.
Oh, see that's the kind of knowledge bomb that Shazad can drop.
Yeah. I don't have the knowledge bomb.
No, I've been afraid to use it. You know, it's a great power comes great responsibility.
I did drop it in our Insta before we came on.
Cool.
So you guys have 2 kids that are now teenagers.
Yes.
How has that sort of molded your reselling career? Is it sort of, have you had to sort of work around that a bit? Has it made it difficult or easier, or?
They're now at the age where it's okay. Like obviously when we moved up here 3 years ago, it was a little bit different because they were younger, and we didn't want to leave them alone, so we would be, traipsing them around with us.
Yeah.
At the car boots and the charity shops when we, because we're all new to up here. But yeah, I mean, they're pretty much at that age now where we can kind of let them just do their thing. They've got no interest in reselling.
Absolutely none whatsoever.
Yeah, they don't mind wearing like thrifted clothes and stuff, as long as we do the hard work and
we go get it.
We get it, and but they're not genuinely they're genuinely not.
I mean, it helped when we were first came up here and we were both involved in like the reselling, because it helped with being able to settle them into school. Us not having like the usual commitments of having to be at a day job where you're there for a set hours. We could actually organize our own day so that we could, if they wanted picking up on a certain day.
Yeah, and we had a couple of occasions where they weren't feeling well, and we got a phone call. Well, once we were actually both on our way out thrifting.
We're on the
motorway, and we got a phone call from school saying one of our girls wasn't feeling.
Is that right? We'll turn around. We'll be there in like 20 minutes.
And we could do that.
Did you take it to the thrift store?
No. But like that, we could do that, and it was really necessary then. But like now they're old enough, they can they can look after themselves. So even though we've lost that freedom with us now, being both working, we've lost that freedom, but it's okay because we're not necessarily, we don't need it as much.
They still need us, but in different ways now.
Yeah. More just money.
Yeah, more money.
It's more of a guidance at that age, I suppose. Question: what platforms do you both sell on? So I know you do eBay, but do you do Amazon and stuff like that too?
No,
we do sell on Amazon, but not often. There are certain things we sell now and then, but we should sell on Amazon a lot more. But we mainly eBay. Yeah. We're mainly eBay. Don't really like doing things like Facebook and Shpock, simply because I'm just not a fan of local pickup. I try to avoid pickup. I hate waiting for things. I really hate.
They don't show up.
I'm not a fan of. Even if I buy something, I prefer to like pick it up from a locker than like an Amazon locker or something, rather than wait in. I hate waiting in for stuff. So that
we went to pick one up yesterday and ended up they weren't home, so that was awesome. Knowledge bomb: listing with photos will sell better than listings without photos. You can thank me later.
Thank you. Well, thank you now for that, actually.
Straight on to that, because that's probably where
we're going wrong.
I also hear that it's a good idea to buy your items cheaper than you're going to sell.
I feel that on me.
That's the word on the street, guys. It's just
it's quality, that one. I think those little things like that, though, are the things that keep people on your channel, like those little bits of personality. And I think you guys, you've nailed that balance.
Got buckets of personality.
Yeah. Thank you. It's just a bit of fun, isn't it? You got to have fun with your channel. I think you got to have fun. Yeah, exactly.
Do you have any knowledge bombs or just general advice to sling at new resellers?
Oh gosh, go on, you say something.
I don't know.
You can learn what not to do by watching people as well as what to do. So if you're watching our channel, just bear that in mind.
Yeah.
You can learn. just start off. It's the usual stuff. Start off with something you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
You know, start off with things that are around your house. And also at the beginning, I found it really, really helpful. Even though it's not efficient, it's not an efficient thing to do. But when I first started, I would literally put every item I sold. And part of this is it's easier at the beginning because you're not going to be selling as much.
Yeah.
I used to put every item we sold into a spreadsheet, which would then work out my exact, and I mean exact, amount of profit.
Yeah.
So after the eBay fees, PayPal fees, cost of postage, cost of goods, and what my profit on return was for each item. And it used to make me feel like, okay, I know what I'm doing. And back in the day, I even used to do videos about it, like, you know, showing what I'd sold. And, you know, it's kind of I like looking back at it because I go, oh, look, God bless, you know, like, you know, and then. But definitely do something like that, because even though it's inefficient and it will slow you down, and it's not something you're going to be able to do when you scale up your business, because obviously when you're selling a lot more items a week and a month, it's less useful. It kind of
keeps you focused on the money of it, isn't it?
It teaches you
process of making sure you are.
It gives you an idea of like how much are you really making when you spend £1 to sell something for 20. After fees, how much are you going to come away with? And it's not going to be as much as you think. Sometimes it's going to be as low as you might come away with 14 or 12 pounds, or 12 to 14 pounds out of something. You paid £1 for a solid for 20, and you're like, what? I only come away with 14. But that's the facts. And when you do that enough times with enough different items, or whatever you're selling, I think that's probably the thing I would say.
And another thing I would say is, like, don't compare yourself to other people. Everyone else's situation is different, and they may be doing like fantastic numbers. It doesn't mean you should beat yourself up because you're not doing it.
No. And that's easier said than done.
We have to remind ourselves, like, everyone's lifestyle, goals, everything is so different.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's way easier said than done, that one, isn't it? That thing, like, not because everyone says it. Oh, don't compare yourself. Everyone says it, but actually doing it, it's really not easy. You know,
especially when you've got like Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, groups and stuff like that. There's a lot like that you're kind of faced with like every single day. And it's it can be tough.
Is MJ still in the shed?
I'm presuming that's an inside joke, that one.
Do you know what? MJ is like...
We've got two now.
Yeah. They're both in the shed.
Yeah, they're both in the shed. It's just like this
picture.
Yeah, it's just that plush we found. And then once we were walking around the car boot and someone gave us another one. So we've now got two.
We've got two now.
Just in the shed, chilling, keeping each other company.
That would scare the absolute out of me.
It's really odd looking. Yeah.
We saw it last night in the little thumbnail.
Yeah, you're like, what is that? Yeah.
Firstly, I was like, where is his like amazing beard, and what is that creepy doll thing doing in the middle? Knowledge bomb: if you don't list, you can't sell it. That's
true as well. That's some bombs being dropped in the chat.
I know, right?
Eye level. Resellers are fun people. Cool. Don't rely on others.
That's a good one.
Yeah, you got to be self-sufficient to some level.
Yeah, I think that's a good one, because, you know, like when we're talking about, for example, like drops in sales and stuff, it's really easy to look for things to blame, but in the end, you do have to just accept the blame yourself, because like, you know, we've obviously had, like I said, we've had a drop in sales this year, first time since starting to resell. So far, I'm not even sure if that's 100% true, because we've split the stores, but it feels like it anyway. But it's so easy to look for excuses. I always remind myself of that scene in A Bug's Life, you know, when Hopper says everything, you know, first rule of management, everything is your fault. That just, you know.
And I think that's
Bug's Life. Yeah, Bug's Life. You know, definitely the first.
I think a lot of the time, you like. I think it's better to know the reason rather than the excuse. So, have you been listing? Have you been doing the right thing and making your store best it can be?
You know what? Sometimes you tick all those boxes and no one buys anything.
Just know sometimes you have to accept, and that's what you've got to be, and that's where preparation comes in. I suppose that's the thing. Like that would be looking back at how we did things. I think we do things in reverse sometimes. I wish I'd kept my job rather than just thinking, screw it, I'm a full-time reseller now. And I think I would say definitely have that cushion. You got to have, as some people call FU money. You've got to have it. I think that is the best thing to have, and that's definitely one of our goals as well, to have a nice stack of that.
Yeah, definitely. It makes sense when you.
Dan remembers the spreadsheet. yeah. I even offered it as a link, as if someone would want to use it. Yeah, it had all these horrible colors and everything. It did its job. Yeah, it did its job.
Here's a good question from Zach. So we have an Australian reseller group. And he's asking if you guys are in it.
Not in any Facebook group. We might join this one though. We've not joined an Australian one. We'll see what the Australian people are like. Yeah, we're not in any UK ones. That's not saying UK people are bad, but Facebook groups, I don't know, man.
Well, yeah, they are hard. Yeah. Yeah, another knowledge bomb. Take things with a pinch of salt. Not everyone you see and hear on YouTube can be true. Absolutely.
Yeah. And everyone's just saying what works for them, and it might not work for you.
Yeah. Exactly.
Unless it's me saying that I'm the greatest clothing reseller ever.
That's definitely.
Question that.
Peter A's jumped in. So, hey, Peter, thanks for coming along.
Peter. Definitely the best. The best.
Lots of hellos.
Good. Try and catch up with the chat again.
Whoops.
Time for me to go, folks. Yeah, I don't think we'll be on too much longer. So if anyone has any questions for Zaheer and Bec before we go, please absolutely ask them. Hi, what strategy do you guys take? A quick flip for okay margin or hold for a bigger profit?
Ooh.
Okay. Do you know what? I like questions like this now because I've had both opinions, and I'm quite opinionated. And while I'm believing an opinion, I'm quite firmly behind it. And I'm sure I've had videos in the past going, what's the point in selling stuff for like low amounts? You can have high margin, but if it's only a £10 item, what's the point? It's just stupid, because at the time I was selling high value items so I've been at both ends of the spectrum. Currently we're most definitely in the quick flip rather than holding out for the bigger profit, but that's down to what we're selling as well. We do tend to want to turn stuff over quickly. I think we value that now.
I think with the RC stuff, it kind of changed our thoughts on it, because we never used to have an item under a certain amount on the store. And with RC parts, we've got like packets of screws that are like $3.99 and they go in a large letter, and it's like. But
the thing is, if we dropped the price, it wouldn't sell any quicker.
It wouldn't.
So we've got a store where, like, if you drop a price on a radio control car part for to try to sell it quicker, you're just silly.
We've tried running them on like sales and things like that, and it just does nothing.
Well, if you don't need PD 1471, you don't need PD 1471. You don't need.
You're going to pay the normal price.
You're not just going to just chuck it in your shopping cart.
You never know when I might need it.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas at the general store, we're selling like stuff that we're picking up the charity shops, carpets, and when we are very happy to accept offers. We're like quite
we have best offer on pretty much all of our listings. So
we do look to just shift stuff. That's how we feel right now, but that can change,
Yeah, I think it fluctuates in the certain items that you want to hold out for and the certain ones you just want to get rid of. So
because you'll be attached to certain things as well. Sometimes you're like, no, I really like this.
Like the DMX. Was it DMX?
DMX?
Yeah, like the little T-shirt.
No, that's an ASAP Rocky one. Yeah.
No, not the ASAP Rocky one. You had like the wrestling one.
Oh, the X-Pac jersey. Yeah. I had a WWE. I found like a X-Pac D-Generation X wrestling jersey from back in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000, 2001, and I held out and got like 90.
He listed it for like 200
Originally I listed it for £200 and it's not worth that much.
I'm keeping this for 200, so I can't say anything.
Yeah. We got some of those Thomas Dam, I think it is, those trolls from back in the day.
Oh right.
Crazy hair.
Yeah.
not so expensive because I'm keeping them.
So we've got 62 people in chat. So thank you everyone for coming along. If you haven't checked out Zaheer and Bec's channel, please do. I'm sure that all of you are all over it because they're quality people and everyone loves to watch you guys. But if you haven't, please click on them and make sure you go watch some of their videos, especially knowledge bombs. They will help you out. What else have we got here? Here we go. Here's one from Rod. So here, do you still pack items on your ironing board?
I'm guessing I used to. Yeah, I think I used to. Yeah, no, not at the moment. We've upgraded to like a table now.
Yeah, we've got a table now.
We use a table for these
Doesn't
things.
seem as versatile. Go back to the ironing board.
You know, you can move around, up and down, different heights.
Adjustable.
Iron the shirt while you're there.
Oh my gosh.
Peter A, hope your subs rocketed right after our live. Bumcracker Picker, have you shown your YouTube channel? Quality content on Bumcrack's channel. It's good to meditate there. My whole model is selling volume. Selling one-off items doesn't appeal to me. Absolutely. That's from one of the real big sellers.
The real one.
That's the thing. It's like that's eventually what I would love to have is a store. You know, like do you guys watch Daily Refinement as well? Yeah. I mean, you know, that guy. I love Chris. He's a fantastic channel as well. He's got, and he's very much about that, isn't he? About like the sustainable stock. Like he says, yeah, of course it's fine to go thrifting, and you know, I think it scratches an itch for us all when you go out treasure hunting. But if you're serious about creating a sustainable income long term, then you know I think that's the right thing. Look, Mum, I'm hustling. That's great. Yeah, I was really torn about keeping that or not, and part of me wishes I could have, but I just couldn't justify it. Like when I'm loaded, then I'll go and get like a Shawn Michaels or Yeah, I love
we actually picked up a cup the other day from that degeneration lot, so that was cool.
Oh, really? Cool.
Just a tumbler. So hit that thumbs up. Yeah, leave a nice little like for Zaheer and Bec on the channel. Let them know that you enjoyed the chat.
Yeah.
Hello to Aussie Thrifters. We've got
G'day.
Ben in the chat. So Ben is works alongside Benjamin. Benjamin. Yeah, works alongside Rally Roots and Kelly and that, and he's got an awesome Depop store and stuff. So
cool.
Dream team.
Yeah, they like all of them.
Rally Roots. Those guys are switched on, aren't they?
Everyone being lazy. I'm like, you could not join that dream team. You better.
Thanks,
Rally Roots are just they're like quite next level as well, because again they've got so many different things on the go. Again, they've got like the wholesale side of their business, which is I think that's what I think that is the sustainable part of things, isn't it? And then they still love to go out treasure hunting, and I think I think that's what I would like to get to. That's the stage I'd like to get to, where I'm just going charity shops and car boots just to scratch the itch, but I'm not. You know, whereas at the moment I'm going and I'm like hoping to find things to add income. I would love to create a situation where it becomes, you know, like that more of
an awesome team. Like Ben and Callie just bring so much that environment as well. It's
Karen sells clothes in the chat as well. Karen is lovely as well. She's a lovely lady. Thanks for Karen.
We're a little bit behind. Ben, love your IG. Yeah, he has some killer items. Ben on his
the old Instagram. Oh no, guys! I'm so sorry. We're so far.
Ryan's brother. Yeah, I know who he is. Thanks for clarifying.
Man, I need to learn how to flex on the gram as well. My flexing levels are quite low.
Do you take pictures of your coffee?
That's the key, apparently.
Is that the? I should do that. No, I don't. No. It's because I'm drinking instant and I'm ashamed of myself. Okay.
So we've still got 62 people in. So thanks everyone for coming along. We really appreciate Zaheer and Bec taking some time out to spend with us today.
And working out time zones.
Yeah, it was a bit sort of a little, but
we appreciate it.
We really appreciate you coming on. We really enjoy your channel and keep bringing out those little knowledge bombs and just those little quirky things that you guys do, because everyone loves it.
In our life.
It's been a great chat. Really enjoyed chatting to you guys as well. And it's been really good to, through you guys as well, to get to know a lot of other Aussie resellers channels. And it's been really nice. So really do appreciate it. So
yeah, awesome. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Tommy. Thanks for everyone overseas coming on. Ben, would you do an interview? I think the muscle behind the faces is much more entertaining. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the hard workers.
I can using it on mobile. It's 8 a.m. here, and I'm still tired.
That's the weird thing. It's 8 a.m. where Ben is. It's like what, 10 at night where you guys are?
9:30. Yeah.
9:30, and it's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon here. How weird is that? So I know most people can understand the concept of time, but man,
well, I have to do a time zone knowledge
bomb. Yeah, you should do a time zone knowledge bomb.
Yeah. The time in Australia is different to the time in the UK.
Yeah. So thanks everyone for coming. We'll leave it at that for now. But yeah, thanks again for coming along. Thanks for everyone being in the chat. We're sorry if we missed your question. I have linked Zaheer and Bec's channel in my Instagram as well, if you'd like to jump across there and go across. But thanks everyone for coming along, and we'll see you next time on This Is Your Reselling Life.
Definitely.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
7